welcome to the porch. Well, today's going to be kind of a fun day. We got a pistol that we did a review on a few weeks back. The fact is, we bought it maybe a couple of months ago now, but we did a little bit of shooting with it and tried it out and did a review on it. And I'll show you which one it is. This is the Glock 17L long slide 9mm. And I won't go into all of the stuff that we went into over the review because this is a different video for a different reason. I bought this gun because I wanted to try out the red dot sights. I've never owned a gun with red dots on it, and I only shot a gun one time that had a red dot on it, and it was really pretty awkward, but I knew what that was. The guy that let me shoot it told me, he said, now these things are hard to get used to, but once you get used to them, they're really good. And so I just shot it enough times to not know anything, okay? So anyway, I bought this Glock, the MOS style, because I wanted to do the red dot. And we tried it out, like I said. We didn't have a red dot when we first tried it out. We just got the red dot in a couple of weeks ago and put this red dot on it. And we're going to talk a little bit about that at the end of the video. But today we're just going to let you guys see us shooting it. Now I'll be shooting a little bit slow because I'm not used to this red dot. It's going to take a while. Now I'm going to leave it on there about 6 months and give it time for me to get used to it, not just try it a few times and then decide it's not good. That's not the way to understand anything. But also, one of the things I want to point out to you is when we got this gun, it had a 6.9 inch-pound trigger pull. And long and short of it is, anybody that shoots guns much knows that for a range gun that you want to have fun with, that's too heavy. So we have done a trigger job on it. Matter of fact, I want to say this right quick. What we did is we fired a lot of different ammunition through it. Gun functioned really well. And so now that we knew that we're going to like the gun, we took it to our tune-up shop that we have here on our place. I have a gun shop here, and we tune guns a lot, do trigger jobs and things like that. So I took it to the tune-up shop, got the red dot on it, and then I just went ahead while I was doing that, did pretty much a full-blown tune-up on it as far as trigger and deburring and all those things. But we'll talk about that at the end of the video. You're going to want to hang around for this, and the reason you are because we tried a totally different trigger than we've tried before on the Glocks. And I'll give you some feedback on that, or final thoughts, feedback and final thoughts on the red dot. And also, we put the sandpaper grip tape on it, and we're going to give you some final thoughts on that as well. Hopefully you can take something away from this that will help you in your decision-making process of what you might want to do with your Glock. Okay, having said that, guys, as I like to say, enough talking. Let's get to shooting. Okay, well, that was the shooting range portion of it. Let's go ahead and talk about this gun and what we think about it and the things that we actually did to it. Now let's start out first of all with the red dot. Now this red dot is it's not a cheap red dot, but it is a budget friendly red dot, still fairly costly. Right there's what it is. Now, I didn't buy a real expensive red dot because I wasn't sure that I was even going to like it. But my wife found some Holosun red dots on sale the other day, and she actually bought 2 of them, and I'm glad she did. They were at a really good price. So this red dot, it works good. I got no complaints about it really, but I do have 2 Holosuns, and probably one of those are going to go on this particular gun right here, just because they're a good brand of red dot from what I understand. And there are a few features I like about it that this red dot don't have. Now, having said that, got no complaints about this, and this is sure a good starter. And if she hadn't have bought those others, I probably would have just left this one on here, but I'm fine with the red dot on it. But you know, just to touch on the red dot a little bit more, I'm having trouble getting used to it. I have to kind of slow down with it. Getting that red dot in front of me and being able to find it is a little bit difficult, but I am actually getting it down. I'm actually beginning to be able to find it a whole lot easier, and I can shoot a little bit faster when I find it. So my verdict on the red dot right now is it's still out, but I will say this about the red dot. I think I'm going to end up leaving it on there, and there is a possibility I may even put red dots on some of my other guns, but verdict's still out on that. Now, let's shift gears just a little bit here. Get you guys, get a look at that right there. This is the Handle It Grip company, and I ordered my grips from that company. I went ahead and ordered the sandpaper grips rather than the little lighter textured one, and I'm all right with that. I wouldn't put these on a carry gun. This is a range gun right here, but the one thing that I did notice about these sandpaper grips is if you have a light jacket on, it has a tendency to grab the material on the jacket like Velcro. If you have a t-shirt on or something like that, that could be a problem. Now, my heavier jackets, like my Carhartt that I was wearing earlier today, have no problem with those jackets because they're heavy-duty material and they don't stick to that sandpaper grip. If you're going to carry one, here's a little piece of advice that I'd probably give anybody. Go to the mid-range grip that this company offers, and you might be happier. If I buy any more of them for a carry gun, that's what I'm going to do. Now, you might ask the question, well, does that mean you don't like these? Actually, I like these really well. I actually want to keep these on here because I like that good, solid, firm grip that I get, the purchase that you get with that. And for target shooting, things like that, it works out real well. But, you know, it's just some information. You might like to carry them, but if you're going to carry them against bare skin, I can tell you something, it's going to hurt. All right. Let's shift gears a little more, and this is the most important thing about this gun that I want to talk to you guys about. As I said earlier, we got this gun, it functioned well, and we liked it real well, but the trigger pull on it was, I think I called it inch pounds earlier, but it had 6.9 pounds of trigger pull on it. I was pulling pretty hard to the left and down, which is pretty typical with a heavy trigger pull. Now, I say heavy, for me it was heavy. I was shooting about an inch and a half left and probably an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches low, pretty much every shot. I didn't like shooting it with that heavy trigger pull because my past history, I liked bullseye shooting and I like precision shots. Now, it's not so good with tactical stuff, but it's hard to get away from that. So I like to have more control over where my bullet hits, okay? Tactically, I would have shot fine with that 6.9 pound trigger pull, but I like to do some precision stuff every once in a while. Sometimes I like to do some longer range shooting with a pistol. Like this morning, I didn't show this, but I was doing some 25-yard shots on a 6x6 plate, just freestanding shots, and I was hitting them pretty easy. So if you have much of a pull, you're going to pull off of that at 25 to 50 yards. Having said that, let me really get into what we did that was probably the crowning feature that we have done to this gun up to date. And we may do some more stuff, but this is where we're at now. I went in and I put a Evo 3.5 Ghost connector in it. And then I put a set of Ghost springs in it. And I went from 6.9 pounds to 3.5 pounds. Plus I polished and deburred everything, cleaned everything up on the inside of the gun, just tuned it in general. And the trigger pull on it now it's pretty nice. I've done a few Glocks. This is probably the best trigger pull I've done so far, and I've got a couple of them that got some pretty nice triggers on them, but they're about 4, maybe 4.2 pounds, I think, on my 10mm Glock. But on this one, it's a 3.5, and it really makes it to where you can zero in and do some nice clean shots. So just to put it in a summary here, again, this is a range gun. This is not a carry gun for me. Now, I will probably put it on my nightstand with a flashlight on it in the very near future. But I wanted a gun that was very close to my 19X that I carry as an EDC gun to practice with. And this fits that bill. Now, it's a little longer barrel, but it's just fun to shoot out on the range. Shoots a little softer. So we're going to probably just keep it as a range gun. We've already shot quite a few rounds through it. Get used to the red dot on it. The trigger pull is fantastic, and it's just fun to shoot. And so in summary, this is just a good clean gun, long slide, fun to shoot. You can take it to the range, and just when you get done, you've had a good time with it. That's the biggest thing. And as I said, I didn't set it up for a carry gun. I've got plenty of carry guns, and the 6-inch barrel is a little too long for concealment anyway. But would I recommend this gun to somebody? And my answer to that is yes. If you like a long slide gun, you'd love this thing. Now, what really makes this gun is the red dot, the grips, and more so than anything else, 3.5 pound trigger pull. So I'm going to be shooting this gun a whole lot. I actually shoot 4 or 5 times every day, 4 or 5 rounds, just for the practice and the training. And we're doing a lot of different types of training right now, and tuning guns and things like that. But in summary, this thing gets a good score in my book, say 1 out of 10. I don't really even know what a 10 is, but this is about as close as it gets. So let's give her a 9. I don't know of anything else I can do to it much. It might do a little more undercut on this trigger guard, but that's debatable. I don't like cutting on them frames, but I might later on if I see it necessary. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and just wrap it up with this video right now, because there's not a whole lot more I can say about it. We hope we've said some things that'll help you guys, some things that'll make you think if you're going to buy a Glock, if you're going to shoot out on the range, some of the things like the red dots you might consider, the grips you might consider. And I tell anybody this: if you've got a bad trigger pull and you expect to be really precise, you're just not going to get it if you got a bad trigger pull. If you go to a 3 or 4 pound trigger pull, you're going to like it a whole lot better. All right, guys, we here at the Porch love you. We want the best for you. May God protect, bless, and prosper you. You guys have a good day.